What's up, YouTube? It's Baby from TheZenDoc here. If you're new, welcome to my channel. If you're not, welcome back. I am an artist and a sculptor, and I love to document my process and share my journey, as well as tutorial videos to inspire you and keep you challenged in your art or creative journey. So if you're not subscribed, I would truly appreciate it if you would support me by hitting that subscribe button and turning on bell notifications. As you may know or not, there is a ton of value and inspiration coming at you from this channel. So why not just subscribe? I promise you, you won't regret it. Thank you. Anyway, in today's video, I will be starting a new project and I cannot wait. I'm excited to take you through the entire process from ideation to completion. And so to start off on today's sculpture, I have my piece of flexible wire mesh, which I just cut off a piece, and my blank canvas. And so to begin, what I'm going to do is turn over the canvas and staple the wire mesh to the canvas so that I can have that foundation to begin with. And so let's just get right into it, shall we? So I finished stapling the wire mesh to the canvas, as you can see. And contrary to what I typically would do, I did go ahead and staple all four sides just because I feel that that's the direction I want to go in today, but feel free to work however you prefer. Sometimes I would only staple 1 to 2 sides, give myself the flexibility of having 2 other ends open. But right now, the wire mesh has been completely stapled to the canvas, so I have the base structure for my frame. And the next step is to take some time to work with the wire mesh and figure out what the shape of my sculpture would be. And so I'm just going to take some time to do that and check back in once I have the frame set. Also, once I figure out a direction for my frame, I will be gluing the wire mesh to the canvas with the help of my hot glue gun in a way that allows it to hold that frame or that shape that I have in mind. So let's get started with the process. So the frame is all done. This is what it looks like. And I'm ready to move on to the next step, which would be covering the wire mesh with a layer of plaster bandages. I'll do this by, excuse me. I'll do this by wetting the plaster bandages with water and using my brush to smoothen the plaster bandages over the wire mesh. I'll give you a closer look, so let's get into it. So I've covered the wire mesh with a layer of plaster bandages, and this is what it currently looks like. And so from this point, my next step is to mix up some texture paste and begin to layer that over the plaster bandages in order to build volume and begin the sculpting process. And so this will probably take me anywhere from about 1 to 2 weeks to really layer plaster up until I feel happy with it. And so I'm just going to share some of that with you, and we'll check back in once I'm done layering. So I have my joint compound paste all mixed and ready. I haven't added any acrylic paint or glue to this mixture, and so that means I have a limited time window to work with it. I am okay with that. I love doing this at for the initial layers of the sculpture, and it also motivates me to work faster. Do not feel like you need to do this, but it just helps me to get the sculpture to a solid state quicker. And so I'm just going to get going. I'm looking at the time just to know how long I have to work with it, which is really 90 minutes. And I have made a ton of videos about my mixture. If you haven't checked them out, please do check them out on my channel. But yeah, let's get to layering. So I have been layering this piece for quite some time now, and this is what it currently looks like. The back is still pretty rough, and the edges are rough as well. I've tried to get it as smooth as possible, but today we're sanding. And so I'm going to take a couple hours, or as long as I need, maybe not too long, maybe an hour or two. And I'm going to sand this piece and share some of that with you. But after sanding off camera, I will be adding layers of joint compound to it to, kind of clean up after the sanding, whatever edges still need to be filled, especially the back still needs a little bit more work. I will be doing that off camera, so I just wanted to share that in advance. But today I'll share with you some of my sanding process, and once it is ready for painting, we'll check back in. So it is painting day. I have added a coat of primer to the sculpture off camera, and it's just ready to move on to the phase of painting, the most exciting time. And what I'm going to start off by doing is adding a coat of black paint. Now this is completely optional. I like to do it because it gives me a new perspective on the art, and I prefer to use my metallic alcohol inks over a black or dark background. It's just something that helps my process, so feel free to skip this. But if you're going to be using the same paints that I use, I highly recommend that you use a primer, as that would just allow the paint to show up in the best light possible. It's not acrylic paint, it's not your typical paint. So I would strongly suggest that you prime before painting. Anyway, with all of that said, I'm going to add one coat of black paint, give it a couple hours to dry, and then we'll jump back into actually putting on the color. So see you in a second. Okay, so it's dry, and I've added hanging wire to the back of the sculpture, and it's ready to be painted. Gonna set it down gently. Now with this ink or with the paint, I prefer to start from the back. Usually I like to start from the back because then I can flip it over and work on the front as well while it's on the turntable, and I do not have to touch the back. So that's the idea behind that. But I will be painting in antique gold. That's the color, and it's from Green Stuff World. As always, all of the links will be left in the description, but let's get to painting. So the back is ready, and I'm just going to carefully flip it over on my turntable and start to paint the front. Wish me luck. Whew. Because the paint is still wet, right? So it's always a tricky maneuver, but I've done this a couple of times. There we go. And that's why I always like to paint the back first, because now it can dry while I work on the front. So let's get back to it. I'm just gonna grab a tack cloth, wipe it down to make sure there's no dust, and get back to cleaning. And this is how it came out. It is called Along the Lines. The gold finish looks incredible in different lighting, whether sunlight, sunset, even barely with bare minimum light. It's such a statement piece. It's perfect for anyone who loves a gold decorative accent. Honestly, just takes my breath away. Really, really, really happy with it. This piece is currently available for sale on my website, which will be linked in the description. All of the materials I use would also be linked in the description if this has inspired you to recreate something similar for yourself. If you're not subscribed, please, please, please hit that subscribe button. I would love to see you again. It's been fun hanging out with you. Until next time, take care.